Sherrill, you've written a book all about the HCG program, how it affects or causes weight loss in the body and body resculpturing. It is a program we use here in the clinic, and in Australia we call it the RFM Program. So why is it so successful?
Well, we're in trouble here, as we know, obesity. I think I have the latest statistics that I use in my presentation, and I think, the women 40 and above in age, 60 and 70% or more are overweight or obese. That's a shocking statistic. Mm-hmm. We are in the midst of an epidemic of obesity. So old ways don't work. Dieting, exercising is passé. We are past the point of ever getting long-term results from that approach, which is still recommended in Jenny Craig's and Weight Watchers. They're still doing that old way, but our metabolism has been so altered. It's really impaired. Our ability to store fat is the best it's ever been, but our ability to burn it as energy is really compromised. So people aren't able to lose it. They aren't able to turn fat into energy anymore. And the primary reason, well, there are lots of reasons. I mean, I think we're seeing the effects of toxins. We know bisphenol A, that plastic from water bottles, impairs our genes that leads to obesity. There are a lot of things going on, but the primary mechanism that seems to be in place is a mechanism that was discovered in the 1940s or 50s by this English endocrinologist, Dr. Sherrill, who was looking for the solution to the obesity epidemic. And essentially, after many years of research, his conclusion was it was related to a dysfunctional hypothalamus. Not the thyroid. Thyroid is often seen as the endocrine gland that controls metabolism and weight. Well, it does impact metabolism, but it's not the key to weight loss, because the thyroid is downstream from the messages from the hypothalamus, which is centered deep in our brain, the bottom of our brain. And the hypothalamus is like the major controlling conductor of the entire body and all the functions of the body, including its energy production, including sleep and hormones and cravings, the leptin levels, which is this hormone that makes us feel full, or if we're not responding, we're always hungry. Everything is affected by the messages given by the hypothalamus, which is a very vulnerable organ in the middle of our brain, very vulnerable to toxins, to nutritional deficiencies, to stress. Even MSG, my research, can impair the hypothalamus. So it's like a perfect storm going on right now. And Dr. Sherrill's always said if a woman is more than 4.5 kilos above her ideal weight, her hypothalamus is impaired. So he devised a very profound and sophisticated protocol working with ways to restore the proper communication with the hypothalamus based on this hormone that's called human chorionic gonadotropin. But we use homeopathic versions. And essentially what this is able to do is restore that communication. So the body now gets the proper message. You have all this stored fat. Now the message allows that fat to be accessed as energy. So not only do you get phenomenal weight loss, about 0.5 kilo a day more or less, but because you are removing the stored fat reserves, this visceral fat, this toxic fat, this inflaming fat, and turning it into energy, which is what we were designed to do, now the body rapidly resculpts. So you find your waist returning, the tummy gets flat. And I lost a lot of weight around my thighs and hips. Wherever you're storing this excess weight that you cannot shift, this is what is addressed in this protocol. And it's quite profound because of one very important reason. If you do this protocol properly, it helps to increase your basal metabolic rate. It will help improve your metabolism. And based on research from my doctor colleagues who actually measures the basal metabolic rate, they actually have seen increased increased metabolism, which is phenomenal because every time you diet, you generally get more and more deficient. Your metabolism gets lower and lower, which is why it's harder to lose weight after you've had a dieting phase.
Yeah.
And this protocol turns it all around. You increase your metabolism. You're focusing on just the areas of the body that are most misshapen. You're getting rapid, safe fat loss, not weight loss, fat loss, because you don't lose much muscle mass, which is what you lose up to 60% when you're dieting. I mean, every feature that you could ever want in a healthy, successful, transformative program is found in this protocol.
And it is. It's showing really good results with, as I said, patients that just do everything else. They cannot shift that way. And I've seen it. It takes a bit of commitment, but it's well worth it.
It's changed my life.
Yeah.
You know, I lost close to 15 kilos, 4 dress sizes 5 years ago when I first discovered this and brought it into Australia and wanted to share it with people. I'm so glad you're doing it in your clinic because there is nothing else that will really work for people. And if they're willing to give it a minimum of 3 weeks, 3 weeks you can lose up to 7-8 kilos. You can go further out, 40 days, and lose up to 15. But if you do it, you'll get results. And you're inspired, you feel great, you look great, and then you're ready to really make the changes. This protocol will only work if you commit to the long-term changes, which is basically giving up the carbs and the sugars and eating more nutrient-dense food, getting back onto a healthy track. But when you're inspired, as opposed to the Weight Watchers, which is a long, hard slog with very little result to show for it, you get discouraged. On this protocol, you just are so excited because you see the weight disappearing overnight.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic.